Today on the newscast, Iran's supreme leader claims that Israel could be destroyed within the next 5 years as the U.S. and the Iranian regime prepare to unveil a new Iran nuclear deal. Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. 3 major breaking stories that we are following for you today. Number one, Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei hosted leaders from the terror group Palestinian Islamic Jihad this week, and Khamenei made a very stunning declaration that gives you an idea of the Iranian regime's timetable for a future war with Israel. Folks, according to Khamenei, it may be very close. Number two, a strategic partnership between Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas and the communist regime in Beijing was forged this week. What is China up to there? And back to Iran for our third point, a new, what some are calling mini Iran nuclear deal is in the works between the U.S. and the Iranian regime. Folks, we told you it was coming, so we've got a lot to talk about as we head into what promises to be a very busy weekend in the world's most volatile and chaotic region, the Middle East. And that is why we encourage you to subscribe to the Watchman News channel right here on YouTube and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. We are bringing you the kinds of stories that the mainstream media is virtually ignoring, so you don't want to miss any of our updates here on the news channel. And hey, I've been pointing out this week that although we have, by God's grace, close to 630,000 subscribers, only 27% of our regular viewers are actually subscribed to the channel. That means some 73% of people who watch this channel on a regular basis are not subscribed. Hey folks, it's completely free to just click that subscribe button. We would love to have you here with us as subscribers, watchmen and women on the wall, because we want these videos to get out to a broader audience with the message for the kingdom for such a time as this. Hey, let's get into it. Speaking of stories the mainstream media is virtually ignoring, call me crazy, folks, but I think it's kind of a big deal when Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei suggests that Israel could disappear within the next 5 years. Now, Khamenei made these statements on Wednesday as leaders of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad terror group, obviously an Iranian proxy, visited Tehran to do what they portrayed as a victory lap after their 5-day conflict with Israel last month. Now, we reported it here on the newscast in real time each of those 5 days. The Israel Defense Forces called it Operation Shield and Arrow. They went toe-to-toe with Islamic Jihad in Gaza. It all started when Islamic Jihad launched some 100 rockets, more than 100 actually, against Israel. Israel waited a few days and then it responded with great force, eliminating at least 5 Palestinian Islamic Jihad terror commanders. And look, the IDF was saying this was a resounding victory for Israel, and Palestinian Islamic Jihad took major blows, and yet Ayatollah Khamenei rolled out the red carpet for these terror leaders and congratulated them on a supposed victory against Israel. That's nothing new, really, folks. We've seen this kind of rhetoric and chest thumping out of the Iranian regime and its proxies many times. What struck me were the comments Khamenei made during this meeting. He said that, look, Israel just this year is celebrating its 75th anniversary since it was miraculously reborn as a nation in 1948. Khamenei didn't say miraculously. I did, because it was an act of God when Israel was reestablished in 1948. Nonetheless, Khamenei said, we think there's a very good chance that Israel may not see its 80th birthday, meaning Israel, in his view, could be gone within the next 5 years. And the reason he gave, folks, I thought was very telling. He pointed specifically at the internal discord and political upheaval in Israel. We've been talking about this on the newscast over the past few months. Hey, it's bad enough that Israel held 5 elections in the span of 4 years, On one hand, if an optimistic view would say, hey, that shows what a thriving democracy Israel has. 5 elections in 4 years. On the other hand, it shows a whole lot of political calamity and disunity in some ways. And Khamenei pointed not only to the elections, but also to what he said were the hundreds of thousands of protesters in the streets in Israel these past few months, protesting against the current government and its plans for judicial reform. And Khamenei has gained confidence from that. And he is saying, look, Israel is tearing itself apart from within. And he is salivating at the thought of a divided Israel and Iran and its proxies taking advantage of that. Remember, Khamenei wrote a book, it was released in 2015, called Palestine, in which he predicted Israel would disappear by the year 2040. He gave Israel 25 years from that date. Now he's moved it up some 12 years apparently, and he's saying Israel may not exist by 2028. That gives you a window into the mind frame here, folks, of the Iranian regime and its proxies. We know that a major regional war is coming. It may very well be sparked by an Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. More on that in a minute. From an Israeli perspective, Israel says, hold the presses there. We are more than ready, whether it's Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, the Chief of Staff for the Israel Defense Forces, all are saying, look, we do have a problem right now. Politically, there's a lot of division in this country, but when it comes to external threats, we are completely united. That's the message they have conveyed to Iran again and again, in particular over Iran's nuclear program. Israel has made clear that it will act alone if needed to eliminate that existential threat. Speaking of which, I mentioned this new mini Iran nuclear deal, folks. We expect it to be unveiled soon. The Biden administration, as we reported last week here in the newscast, and by the way, if you miss any of our commentaries, just go to our archives. They're all right there under newscasts on the homepage. But using Oman as a mediator, the Biden administration and Iran have been negotiating, and reportedly, folks, this is a deal, or the parameters of the deal, the mini deal so-called, that they've come to. The U.S. will provide Iran with billions of dollars in sanctions relief in return for Iran agreeing not to enrich uranium above a 60% clip. Now, not to get too in the weeds with this, if you enrich uranium at a 90% clip, then you're crossing the threshold, the point of no return. You have the capability to build a nuclear bomb. According to the UN, Iran recently was enriching uranium at 84%, very close to that threshold for a military nuclear program breaking out for the bomb. Now the U.S. is saying, hey, please don't enrich uranium to a certain level. We'll give you billions of dollars, literally, just don't enrich uranium at 90%, pretty please. Reportedly, Benjamin Netanyahu said he's not too concerned about it. We shall see Israel's response. It's been a bit muted so far, but if there's some sort of official announcement, and by the way, Iranian officials confirmed that this deal is in the works as well this week. Let's see how Israel responds. That will be very interesting to watch. Last note, we mentioned our 3 big stories today. And again, the mainstream media, scant coverage of this to say the least. China, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas was in Beijing this week. He met with Xi Jinping, the Chinese premier, and they came to what they're calling a, quote, strategic partnership. Now, they didn't break down too many details of what's involved here, folks, but the big takeaway here is, number one, the U.S., the Palestinians are looking elsewhere. Abbas isn't visiting the White House to try and get support for his cause at the moment. And back in March, Iran and Saudi Arabia, they're looking towards China. They're looking east right now. China sees itself as a growing, not only global power broker, of course, but a growing influence in the Middle East. That's China's intent. Again, they brokered that normalization of relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia back in March, and now look for China with this strategic partnership with Abbas. Folks, a major story in my view that's being ignored. Look for China to get more involved in the so-called peace process. and pushing Israel to give up land for a so-called peace and establish a Palestinian state. Very interesting meeting this week between Abbas and Xi Jinping that I think could have some ramifications down the road. We're watching it all very closely, folks. Hey, Father's Day this Friday, Sunday, June 18th. First of all, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Have a blessed day with your families. Number two, if you're looking for a great Father's Day gift, check out the Watchman shop at shop.tbn.org/Watchman. We've got some cool merch there. T-shirts, hats, mugs, bumper stickers, etc. You can show your support for the channel and help keep us going, and Dad might really love it. So we wish everyone a happy Father's Day. Have a great weekend. Until next time, thanks for joining us. God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload, and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.